You ever had one of those days where a simple decision changes everything? One moment, you're just going about your life, and the next, boom, nothing's the same. That's exactly what happened to 17-year-old Jamal Carter on an ordinary Tuesday afternoon. He was just trying to get home after a long day at school, crammed onto a packed bus, headphones in, minding his own business. Then he saw a pregnant white woman, struggling to keep her balance as the bus jerked forward. Without even thinking, Jamal did what his mama raised him to do. He stood up and offered her his seat. What happened next? Well, that's where things get wild star. The woman smiled gratefully and sat down, but as Jamal turned to grab the overhead rail, she tugged gently on his sleeve. Confused, he leaned in, and that's when she slipped something into his hand, a small, folded note. Before he could ask what it was, the bus screeched to a stop, and she disappeared into the crowd like she was never there. Jamal stood there, heart pounding, staring at that piece of paper like it might burn him. Because deep down, he knew this wasn't just some thank you note. Back home, locked in his room, he finally unfolded it. Just a few words, scribbled in shaky handwriting. You have a good heart. Don't let them take it from you. Beneath that, a phone number. Now, Jamal's no fool, he knows random numbers from strangers usually mean trouble. But something about this felt, different star. Like the universe was nudging him. So, against his better judgment, he dialed. The voice on the other end? It wasn't the woman. It was a man. And what he said next would send Jamal's life spiraling into a world of secrets, danger, and a choice that could cost him everything. But that's a story for next time. Because right now, all Jamal knows is that one act of kindness. It just opened a door he can't close. And whatever's on the other side, it's coming for him. Jamal's finger hovered over the call button. His gut told him to delete the number, toss the note, and forget any of this ever happened. But curiosity was a stubborn thing. With a deep breath, he pressed call star. 1 ring. 2. Then. You finally called. The voice on the other end was deep, calm, like the man had been expecting him. Jamal's throat went dry. Who is this? A pause. Then, quieter, someone who's been watching. Jamal's pulse spiked. Watching. His grip tightened on the phone. Look, if this is some kinda joke. No joke, the man cut in. That woman on the bus. She's safe because of you. And now you need to be safe too. Safe from what? Jamal's mind raced. Was this some kind of prank? A setup? He glanced around his tiny bedroom, half expecting shadows to move. Man, I don't know what you're talking about. I just gave up my seat. And that's why they'll come for you, the man interrupted. Kindness is a liability in their world. Jamal's skin prickled. Their world, none of this made sense. He was just a kid from the South Side with a part-time job at the grocery store. He wasn't special. He wasn't involved in anything. Unless. A memory flashed, his older brother, Dion, whispering late at night about people who disappeared after asking too many questions. Jamal had always thought he was just being paranoid. But now. Who are you? Jamal demanded. The man exhaled, like he was weighing how much to say. Call me Gideon. And I need your help. Jamal barked out a laugh. My help. Bro, I got a chemistry test tomorrow. This is bigger than tests, Gideon said, deadly serious. That woman? She's part of something dangerous. And you just got pulled into it. Jamal's chest tightened. He wanted to hang up, block the number, pretend this wasn't happening. But something in Gideon's voice, the raw urgency, kept him listening. Meet me, Gideon said. Tomorrow. The old train yard, 4 p.m. Come alone. Jamal's mouth opened to refuse, but the line went dead. Sleep didn't come that night. Jamal tossed and turned, replaying the call in his head. By sunrise, he'd almost convinced himself it was all in his head. Maybe he'd imagined the woman. Maybe the note was nothing. But then his phone buzzed. Unknown number. Asterisk asterisk don't trust anyone today. Asterisk asterisk. Jamal's blood turned to ice. At school, every glance felt loaded. His best friend, Marcus, nudged him at lunch. Yo, you good? You look like you seen a ghost. Jamal forced a grin. Nah, just didn't sleep. But his eyes kept darting to the doors, the windows. Asterisk were asterisk they watching him? When the final bell rang, Jamal's feet dragged. Going to that train yard was a bad idea. But asterisk not asterisk going? That felt worse. The abandoned train yard was all rusted metal and broken concrete, the kind of place cops warned kids about. Jamal's sneakers crunched over gravel as he crept past a graffiti-covered boxcar. You came. Jamal spun. A tall man in a dark coat stepped from the shadows, Gideon. Up close, he looked older than his voice, with sharp eyes that missed nothing. Start talking, Jamal said, fists clenched. What's this about? Gideon studied him, then pulled something from his pocket, a photograph. He handed it to Jamal. It was the pregnant woman. But in the photo, she wasn't smiling. She was terrified, her hands cuffed to a hospital bed. Jamal's stomach dropped. What the hell? Her name's Dr. Elena Voss, Gideon said. She's a scientist. And she was running from asterisk them asterisk when you met her. Them asterisk who asterisk? Gideon's jaw tightened. The people who want to control who gets to be kind. Before Jamal could process that, a noise echoed through the yard, a car engine, getting closer. Gideon's head snapped up. They're here. Jamal's heart hammered. Whose? Gideon yanked him behind the boxcar just as headlights cut through the dusk. A black SUV rolled to a stop, doors flying open. They track phones, Gideon hissed. Yours is compromised. Jamal's mind reeled. This wasn't happening. It asterisk couldn't asterisk be. But the figures stepping out of the SUV, dressed in all black, moving like soldiers, were very real. Gideon pressed a key into Jamal's palm. Bus depot locker 114. Go. Asterisk now. Asterisk. Jamal hesitated. But. Asterisk run, asterisk. A shout rang out. They'd been spotted. Jamal ran. Behind him, Gideon's voice carried on the wind, one last warning. Don't trust asterisk anyone asterisk until you see the ring. Jamal's lungs burned as he sprinted through the maze of abandoned train cars, the shouts of the men in black fading behind him. He didn't dare look back. Gideon's warning echoed in his head, asterisk don't trust anyone until you see the ring. Asterisk what the hell did that even mean? He ducked behind a crumbling brick wall, gasping for air. His phone. Gideon said they tracked phones. With shaking hands, he yanked out the battery and tossed the whole thing into a pile of broken glass. No way they could follow him now. But now what? The bus depot. Locker 114. Jamal waited until the voices disappeared before creeping out of the train yard. The streets were busy with rush hour traffic, and he melted into the crowd, shoulders hunched, trying to look invisible. Every stranger's glance felt like a threat. Was that guy in the hoodie following him? Did that woman just whisper something into her phone? By the time he reached the bus station, sweat dripped down his back. The depot was packed, travelers dragging suitcases, families hugging goodbye, cops milling near the food court. Normal stuff. But nothing felt normal anymore. Locker 114 was tucked in a dim corner near the restrooms. Jamal hesitated, key in hand. What if this was a trap? What if Gideon was one of asterisk them asterisk? But then he remembered the fear in Dr. Voss's eyes in that photo. He had to know. The locker creaked open. Inside was a single black backpack. Jamal unzipped it slowly. A laptop. A stack of cash. A burner phone. And a small wooden box. His fingers trembled as he lifted the lid. There it was. A ring. Not just any ring, this thing looked ancient. Heavy silver, with strange markings carved into it. It hummed under his touch, like it was alive. Asterisk don't trust anyone until you see the ring. Asterisk. Before he could process it, the burner phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Asterisk asterisk they're watching the locker. Take the bag. Go to 325, Cherrywood Lane. Don't put on the ring until you're safe. Asterisk asterisk. Jamal's head whipped around. Were they here? In the depot? He stuffed everything into the backpack and slung it over his shoulder, heart pounding. Then he saw them. 2 men in dark suits, scanning the crowd. No way they were cops. They moved too smoothly, eyes sharp, hands near their waists like they were ready to draw weapons. Jamal ducked behind a vending machine as one of them spoke into an earpiece. No sign yet. Check the south exit. He had to move. 325, Cherrywood Lane. Where the hell was that? He needed a bus, a cab, anything. But if they were watching the exits? The food court. There had to be a back way out. Jamal weaved through the crowd, keeping his head down. He was almost to the hallway leading to the kitchens when a hand grabbed his arm. Jamal Carter. He froze. A woman stood there, late 20s, sharp blue eyes, dressed like a business traveler. But the way she held herself. Tense. Ready. How do you know my name? He whispered. She leaned in. Gideon sent me. They've got the exits covered. Come with me if you want to live. Jamal's gut screamed *danger star. But what choice did he have? She pulled him through a staff-only door into a hot, noisy kitchen. Workers shouted over sizzling fryers, none of them glancing their way. The woman moved fast, shoving open a fire exit into an alley. A beat-up sedan idled at the curb. Get in, she ordered. Jamal hesitated. The ring weighed heavy in the backpack. Don't trust anyone. The woman sighed. Look, kid, I get it. But if you stay here, they will find you. And trust me, you don't want that. A shout echoed from the depot behind them. The men in suits had spotted the exit. Jamal made his choice. He jumped into the car. As they peeled away, the woman glanced at him. Name's Rachel. Gideon's my brother. Jamal clutched the backpack tighter. Where are we going? Rachel's knuckles whitened on the wheel. Somewhere they won't expect. But first, you need to know what you're carrying. She nodded at the bag. That ring. It's not just metal. It's a key. And there are people who'll kill to get it back. Jamal swallowed hard. A key to what? Rachel's smile was grim. To seeing the world as it really is. The car tore through the city streets, rain starting to patter against the windshield. Jamal gripped the backpack like his life depended on it, because right now, it probably did. Rachel took sharp turns without warning, her eyes constantly flicking to the rearview mirror. You got tails? Jamal asked, twisting to look behind them. Not yet, Rachel muttered. But they'll come. They always do. Jamal's fingers brushed against the wooden box in his bag. The ring inside felt heavier than it should, like it was pulling at him. You gonna tell me what this is really about? Or am I just supposed to keep running blind? Rachel's jaw tightened. That ring belonged to my father. He was part of something bigger. A group that saw the truth. What truth? That the world isn't what we think it is. Rachel swerved down an alley, the car's tires screeching. There are people, powerful people, who control what we see, what we believe. And that ring. It shows you what they don't want you to see. Jamal's stomach dropped. This sounded like some conspiracy theory nonsense, but after today, he wasn't so sure. The way those men had moved at the train yard, too coordinated, too focused. Like hunters. The burner phone in the bag suddenly buzzed. Rachel snatched it before Jamal could react. Change of plans, she said after reading the message. Her face went pale. They have Gideon. What? Where? Old textile mill on the river. They're using him as bait. Rachel's hands shook on the wheel. They know you'll come for him. Jamal's chest tightened. Gideon had helped him, risked himself. And now he was caught because of Jamal. We gotta go get him. Rachel shook her head. That's exactly what they want. They don't just want the ring, they want you. There's something special about you, Jamal. Why do you think that woman gave you the note? The car screeched to a stop in front of a rundown apartment building. Rachel turned to him, deadly serious. Listen to me. Take the bag, go to apartment 4B. There's a safe room behind the bathroom mirror. Stay there until I come back. You're going after Gideon alone? I know how they operate. Rachel reached under her seat and pulled out a handgun. Jamal's breath caught. They won't expect me. But you're the important one now. She pressed a key into his hand. Whatever you do, don't put on that ring until you're ready. Once you see, you can't unsee it. Jamal wanted to argue, to insist on going with her. But the look in Rachel's eyes stopped him. This wasn't a debate. As he stepped out into the rain, Rachel called after him, "And Jamal? If I'm not back by morning, put on the ring. It'll show you what to do next." The car sped away before he could respond. The apartment building smelled like mildew and old cigarettes. Jamal took the stairs 2 at a time, his pulse roaring in his ears. Apartment 4B was unlocked. Inside was sparse, just a couch, a table, and a single lamp casting long shadows. Jamal went straight to the bathroom. The mirror looked normal, but when he pushed on the edge, it swung open to reveal a hidden space barely bigger than a closet. He stepped inside, pulling the mirror closed behind him. In the dim glow of a single bulb, Jamal finally opened the wooden box. The ring gleamed, those strange markings seeming to shift under the light. It called to him in a way he couldn't explain. A sudden bang from the apartment made him jump. Someone was here. Footsteps. Heavy. More than one person. "Check the bathroom," a deep voice growled. Jamal's blood turned to ice. They'd found him. The mirror handle jiggled. Jamal looked down at the ring in his palm. Rachel's warning echoed in his mind. But what choice did he have? As the mirror started to swing open, Jamal made his decision. He slipped the ring onto his finger. The world exploded in light. The light wasn't just bright, it was alive. Jamal gasped as colors he'd never seen before pulsed around him, the very air vibrating with energy. The cramped safe room melted away, replaced by something else. Something more. He could see through the walls. Not just the bathroom door, everything. The men searching the apartment glowed with strange auras, one pulsing red with anger, another flickering blue with cold calculation. And when Jamal looked down at his own hands, they shimmered with golden light. But the real shock came when he saw the truth about the ring. Tendrils of silver energy snaked from the band, connecting to countless threads stretching in all directions, some bright, some dark, all humming with power. Jamal suddenly understood. These were connections. Bonds between people. The invisible ties that held the world together. And the men hunting him? Their threads were being manipulated by something darker, something that made Jamal's stomach turn just glimpsing it. "Where the hell did he go?" the red aura man growled, kicking over the couch. The tracker said he was right here. Jamal held his breath as one of them stepped into the bathroom. The man reached for the mirror and his hand passed right through Jamal's chest without touching him. The ring wasn't just showing Jamal the hidden world. It was hiding him from it. A sharp pain blossomed in Jamal's temple. The vision was too much, his brain couldn't process it all. He stumbled back, accidentally brushing against one of the glowing threads connected to the ring. Instantly, he was somewhere else. A dark room. Gideon strapped to a chair, face bloody. A figure in a black mask leaning close. "You should have given us the boy," the masked man hissed. "Now we'll peel the location from your..." The connection snapped as Jamal yanked his hand away, gasping. He'd just seen Gideon alive but in terrible danger. And Rachel? Where was Rachel? Another thread pulsed urgently near his face. Without thinking, Jamal touched it. This time he saw Rachel creeping through the abandoned textile mill, gun drawn. But what she couldn't see, what Jamal now could, were the dozen armed men waiting in ambush. And worse, the same dark presence he'd sensed before, coiled around the building like a predator. The vision vanished as the ring suddenly grew burning hot on his finger. Jamal yelped and nearly pulled it off until he realized why. One of the searchers had just pulled out a strange device that beeped wildly when pointed toward the safe room. "They've got tech that can track the ring's energy," Jamal whispered. The realization hit him like ice water. He wasn't invisible anymore. The bathroom door burst open. Jamal did the only thing he could think of. He reached for the brightest thread he could see and pulled. The world bent around him. One moment he was in the safe room. The next, He was standing in the middle of the textile mill, right behind Rachel. She spun, gun raised, before recognizing him. Jesus. How did you? The ring, Jamal panted, his head spinning. I can see everything. They're everywhere, Rachel. And there's something else here with them. Something bad. Before she could respond, the first shot rang out. Rachel shoved Jamal down as bullets tore through the air where his head had been. We need to move, she shouted over the gunfire. But Jamal wasn't listening. His ring-enhanced vision had locked onto something terrible. Gideon's thread was fading fast. And that dark presence. It was moving toward them, hungry. Worse still, the ring was whispering to him now. Not in words, but in urges. It wanted him to do something. Something big. And Jamal wasn't sure he could resist. Bullets tore through the air as Jamal and Rachel dove behind a rusted machine. The ring burned hotter on Jamal's finger, its whispers growing louder in his mind. He could see it all now, the gunman's positions lit up like fireflies in his enhanced vision, Gideon's fading life force pulsing weakly from somewhere deeper in the mill, and that dark presence, slithering closer through the shadows. We need to get to Gideon now. Jamal shouted over the gunfire. His voice sounded different, deeper, more certain. The ring was changing him. Rachel stared at him like she was seeing a ghost. Your eyes, they're glowing. Jamal didn't have time to process that. The whispers in his head showed him exactly what to do. He grabbed Rachel's hand and focused on the glowing thread connecting them. The world blurred. And suddenly they were standing over Gideon's broken body in a back room. Rachel gasped. Gideon's face was swollen, his breathing shallow. But his eyes flew open when he saw Jamal. You, put it on, Gideon croaked. Then you've seen the web. Jamal nodded. The web, that's what the threads were. A vast, shimmering network connecting everyone. And the dark presence. It was something outside the web, something feeding on it. Gideon gripped Jamal's wrist with surprising strength. It wants you to use it. Don't. That's how it gets in. A crash came from the hallway. The gunmen were coming. The ring pulsed eagerly. It showed Jamal how easy it would be, just a thought and he could snap all their threads at once. They'd drop like puppets with cut strings. But Gideon's warning echoed in his mind. Rachel checked her gun. 2 bullets left. We're not getting out of this. Jamal looked at the ring, then at Gideon's fading thread. He made his choice. Instead of reaching for the attacker's threads, he grabbed Gideon's and poured his own energy into it. Golden light flowed from Jamal into Gideon. The older man's wounds began knitting closed, color returning to his face. But the cost was immediate. Jamal staggered as weakness flooded him. The ring screamed in his mind, furious at this misuse of its power. The door burst open. The masked leader stepped in, gun raised. Then froze. Because the shadows behind him were moving on their own. That dark presence Jamal had sensed, it manifested now, a swirling mass of hungry black tendrils. It wrapped around the gunmen first. They didn't even scream, just unraveled, their threads dissolving into the darkness. The more you use the ring, the stronger it gets, Gideon whispered urgently. It's been waiting for someone like you. The entity turned toward them. Jamal understood now, the ring wasn't just a tool. It was bait. And he'd taken it. Rachel fired their last bullets. They passed right through the shadow like it wasn't there. The ring begged Jamal to fight, to unleash its full power. It showed him how he could win, but at what cost? With the last of his strength, Jamal did the one thing the ring never expected. He took it off. The world snapped back to normal. The shadows, the threads, all gone. The remaining gunmen lay unconscious on the ground like their strings had been cut. And the ring? It crumbled to dust in Jamal's palm. Silence. Then, from the doorway, slow clapping. A well-dressed man stepped into the light. Remarkable, he said. You're the first to ever refuse it. Rachel aimed her empty gun. Who the hell are you? The janitor, the man smiled. Here to clean up the mess. He nodded to Jamal. That potential inside you. It was always yours. The ring just showed you what was already there. As the man walked away, Jamal realized 2 things. First, he could still faintly see the threads, even without the ring. Second, this wasn't over. Not by a long shot. But for now, he was just glad to be alive. The morning sun filtered through the hospital windows as Jamal sat by Gideon's bedside. 3 days had passed since the ring turned to dust in his hands. The doctors couldn't explain how Gideon's injuries had healed so quickly, just like they couldn't explain why Jamal's eyes still occasionally flashed gold when he got emotional. Rachel walked in carrying 3 coffees, her arm in a sling from where a bullet had grazed her. "You two look like hell," she said, handing out the cups. Gideon chuckled weakly. "Says the woman who took on 12 armed men with 2 bullets. Jamal stared at his hands. He could still see faint traces of the threads sometimes, especially the one connecting him to Rachel and Gideon, glowing brighter than the others. That man at the mill, the janitor, who was he really? Gideon exchanged a look with Rachel. Part of a much larger organization. The good guys, if you can believe that. He sat up gingerly. They've been fighting that thing for centuries. The ring was just one of its many traps. Rachel perched on the windowsill. Turns out Dr. Voss was working on a way to track these dark entities. That's why they were after her. And why she passed the ring to you. She sensed you were special. Jamal shook his head. "I'm not special. I just got lucky." "That's where you're wrong," Gideon said. "The ring didn't give you power, it revealed what was already inside you. That kindness that made you give up your seat. That's the real weapon against the darkness." A nurse came in to check Gideon's vitals, cutting the conversation short. When she left, Rachel lowered her voice. "They offered me a job. Gideon too. The organization could use people like us." She looked at Jamal. "People like you especially." Jamal thought about his mom waiting at home, about his little sister who'd been texting him non-stop, about the normal life he could try to go back to. But then he remembered the faint threads he still saw, the cashier at the hospital cafeteria with a dark thread choking her, the old man in the hallway with barely any light left in his. He couldn't unsee what the ring had shown him. "I'm in," Jamal said. "But on one condition, we find Dr. Voss first. She saved me without even knowing me. Now it's our turn." Gideon smiled and reached for his phone. "Already on it. Turns out the janitor left us a little present." He showed them a text with coordinates and 3 words, ***, she's waiting there. ***. As they left the hospital together, Jamal paused at the bus stop where it all began. The same route number stared back at him. He could almost see himself that day, just a regular kid doing a decent thing. Rachel nudged him. "You okay?" Jamal nodded, watching as a young mother struggled with a stroller nearby. Without thinking, he stepped forward to help. As their hands brushed, he saw it, a new thread forming, bright and strong. "Yeah," he said, smiling for the first time in days. "I think I am." The bus doors opened. Time to move forward. The true end.